and this is episode 66 of my author's diary. Now, I am an author of crime thrillers for women, and every week I take you through the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books. So don't forget to subscribe or follow me so you won't miss when I'm doing a video. So over the past couple of weeks, I have also started to multitask a little bit and to start doing live cooking as I talk to you about stuff for my author's life. So I'm actually not going to do live cooking this week. I'm going to do some live drinking. So you'll see what that means in a minute. But I'm still doing really good on eating my vegetables. I just cheated this week. I wanted some fried green beans so bad, and I wasn't trying to figure out a way to oven fry the green beans because I want them to be truly fried. And so I just bought some from the grocery store and baked them in the oven, and that's what I've been eating this week. Yeah, so I've been eating these, which are, it's kind of hard to see. They are bird's eye, crispy green beans, lightly breaded green beans, and you just pop them in the oven for 10 minutes, and they are phenomenal. If you're on my newsletter list, then you already know that this week I would normally be in New York City for the US Open tennis tournament. And so it's been really bittersweet watching it. I went ahead and took the full week off like I would normally do, and I've been watching tennis all day long. And I will say that the results have not been what I wanted. I really wanted an All-American women's final, Serena Williams versus Jennifer Brady. And I didn't get either one of those. You got the Japanese girl battling the Belarusian girl. And I'm like, but it's the US Open. But anyway, so, wish them all the best, at least on the men's side, because it's going to be light years before we have an American male that actually can compete at the top of the level. So I typically pick other guys from other countries to root for in the meantime. And so one of my favorites, Sasha Zverev, he made it to the finals, so hopefully he will win on Sunday, and that will kind of save the whole US Open for me, and I won't be so disappointed. So anyway, so normally I would be at the US Open, and while you're at the US Open, the signature drink for the US Open is called the Honeydew. So that's actually what I'm going to make while I tell you guys about the silver linings of being in lockdown. There's some positive things that happened for me over the past 6 months, things I wouldn't have expected while I was on lockdown. And I'm going to take you through the 5 things that were positive that happened to me while on lockdown. But first, let's cut up some melon, right? So this is the very first Honeydew melon that I've ever purchased in my life. Okay, normally I get my fruit already cut up. I looked at my local HEB to see if they had some honeydew melon already cut up, and guess what? They let me down. They ain't have no honeydew melon. So I had to buy my own honeydew melon, and so I didn't even know how to pick one, right? So I just looked at it, and I was like, okay, yeah, close enough, right? Honeydew melon. So I have a honeydew melon here. I'm going to make the actual melon balls that go with the drink. Now, again, so here are the ingredients for the honeydew, and I will put the recipe in the description below. So now you will see me trying to cut up melon live for the first time on video. So let's get to talking about my positive experiences from the lockdown. Ooh. I think I picked a good melon. It looks really good and green. So the very first thing that was positive, a very positive experience for me, is I was able to manage my emotional eating. Now I'm one where I don't really emotionally eat when I'm super stressed and I have a lot of stuff on my to-do list. If there's work to be done, I don't have time to eat, right? So I'm just cranking through. It's the eating when I'm bored, the eating when I'm worried, the eating when I feel like I don't really have control over a situation. And so the thing that I can control is what I shovel in my mouth, right? And so as soon as I knew back in March that, oh, we're going to work from home, that was the first thing that crossed my mind. Oh, Lord, I'm about to gain 50 pounds, right? Like I literally thought that. I literally thought that I was gonna gain a ton of weight. really told myself, Angel, like, try to get control of this because you don't want to gain a ton of weight. You don't want to like come back from lockdown and you're like twice the size that you were. And so what that meant was that I really had to get a handle on my emotional eating because it's stressed out and the anxiety of the not knowing with COVID and all the stuff that the whole world was going through. It would have been really, really easy for me to just fall into that old pattern of like comforting myself with food. And I didn't want to comfort myself with food. And so the first thing that I started to do was I managed my environment, right? So I said, okay, don't bring the junk food in the house. Like, just don't buy it. Like, if you don't buy it, it's not here for you to eat. And you can't be leaving your house anyway. So just don't have the temptation in the house. So that was the first thing that I did. And then after that, I really got into the habit of using those apps where you track your food, like the food diary apps. That has been a game changer for me. So, you know, and again, it pointed out that I wasn't eating any fruits and vegetables, so I have been rectifying that situation, bringing in more fruits, more vegetables into my diet, and really feeling a lot better about myself. And in the 8 months since the beginning of the year, 9 months since the beginning of the year, I've actually lost weight. I didn't gain weight. And that to me is a huge win and a very, very positive experience for me during this crazy time period of lockdown. So excited about that. So now as you can see, I kind of scooped all the guts out of my melon. So guts are scooped out. Now I'm going to do the melon ball. And so the way you should do it, and we'll see if this works, is what I heard saw on the video. You don't want to scoop in like this, trying to force it to scoop. You want to just place it flat on the melon. So I'll show you a little closer. Put it flat on the melon, like that. Then you push down as deep as you can, and then twist. And look, I got a perfect melon ball. Look at that melon ball. That is perfect. Yep, looks good. Perfect melon ball. When you get the drink at the US Open, they have 3 of these. And again, you know, with the coloring of it, it looks like 3 little tennis balls, and it's super cute. Okay, so the second thing that was a positive experience for me as I was on lockdown because of COVID, is that I really started to explore my creativity and my creative side. Y'all know I've been writing books since like 2017. I started co-writing books with fellow Bonsai Moon Books author Rachel Woods. And then in 2019, I released my own solo book. So I've already kind of started to delve into like the creative side with writing. But being on lockdown and kind of being bored made me explore other types of creative things. And so I really started to pick up with my bullet journaling. And so, you know, when I first started bullet journaling, I was like, you know, I'm using this just as a productivity tool. It's about giving me more structure so I can keep up with things that I'm doing. I don't need to do all that creative and all that drawing and all that kind of stuff. I kind of poo-pooed that stuff. And then, you know, right around about April, after I've been doing kind of the minimalist bullet journaling, I decided that I wanted to create kind of an opening spread for the next month. And so I really started to think about, okay, well, what do I want it to look like? What do I want the color scheme to be? What do I want to be on it? How can I kind of like, you know, actually create something and draw something that would be a nice spread for the month? And I did it that 1 month, and I tell y'all, I was hooked. And so I started to continue to do that, and trust me, it is not a quick process at all. Like, it normally takes me probably from the idea phase all the way through completion phase, probably about, you know, a day and a half to get that done. And I mean, like, I'm talking 12 to 16 hours to get it done, because I start with the ideas, I start with the color scheme, then I sketch everything out, then I go back over everything with markers, then I create all of the normal pages that I have for the month. And so it really is just like a very drawn out process that is so rewarding to me. It's like super rewarding. So I'm gonna take a pause and show you guys. I've done the first layer here of the melon. And so what you do now is you don't want to keep digging because you won't get the perfect little round balls anymore. So what you want to do is you turn it over to the side and you're going to cut about, about an inch or so. Just cut that layer completely off. And you end up with something that looks a little bit like this, which of course, you can just kind of pick around and eat later. But then you get another flat surface where you start to create more melon, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. But the other thing that I also looked into was learning how to play the piano, which I mentioned on one of my last videos. Now, I will tell you that that was a little bit of an epic fail. So, and here's why. So in my day job, I do a lot of typing, and then writing books, like it's hands on keyboards, typing, right? And so then when I started to try to do these piano lessons, and I'm trying to, do stuff with the keys and play stuff with my fingers, I start to have finger muscle strain, y'all, from the typing and then from the piano. And I was like, why do my hands hurt? Why do my fingers hurt? I had to cut that out. I said, you know what? Okay, piano lessons are gonna have to go to the side for a little bit because these hands are throbbing, and I don't like this feeling. I don't like this feeling at all. So I'm not saying that I won't ever go back to trying to do the piano lessons, but it is on hiatus for the moment. Now the third thing, which I think a lot of people can relate to, is I don't have to do my morning and afternoon commute anymore. So I live pretty far from my job. It's about an hour drive to work and an hour drive back home. And being on lockdown, like, it saves me 2 hours out of every day. And I can't tell you how great it feels to just walk upstairs and be at work in like a minute, right? And so that's gonna be probably the hardest thing for me to come to terms with when I have to actually go back to the day job, is starting that morning commute again, which, yeah, not looking forward to that. So the fourth thing that that was a positive experience for me, and literally this one just happened so recently. This is when, August was a horrible month for me, and I like structure, right? And so before the lockdown, like I had structure in my day job, I have meetings, all scheduled, but then I also had that same type of structure for after work, the author life, right? So I knew, like, okay, you gotta write this scene and that scene on this day between these hours, and you work out here and there. So everything was really regimented and really structured. And in August, y'all, August said, ha, and blew that mess up. It blew it all up, right? All of that stuff went out the window. I felt like, okay, there's something I'm supposed to learn from this experience. And I think the thing that I was supposed to learn is that I have to be more flexible and more lenient with myself and the things that I want to accomplish. Now, that doesn't mean that I stop tracking and doing my trackers and setting my goals, but what it does mean is that I'm a lot more flexible around when I get stuff done. In September, y'all, it's been like night and day because I have been so loose on the structure. Yes, I want to finish The Fallen Hero, absolutely. And I want to get it over to the editor as soon as possible, but is it the end of the world if I don't rush and get it done? No, it's not. What I've been doing is I wake up and I'm like, okay, I know the next scene that I'm supposed to write. Do I feel like going there and writing it right now? Oh, I don't? Okay, what do I feel like doing? Okay, and then I go and do that, right? And then if the mood strikes me and I'm like, oh, I want to go in there and write, and if I produce, 6 scenes today and then 0 tomorrow, does it matter? No, because I'm going with what I feel in the moment that I need to, or that I'm inspired to do. And because of that, I have seen my productivity shoot through the roof. Like, literally, I have written 15 scenes in 5 days just by not planning out when I needed to write something. I've been bouncing in and out of writing, watching tennis, watching basketball, watching football, being disappointed by Houston sports teams, then going back to writing. Yeah, so it's been phenomenal. It's been just a really, really great experience. And it's something that I don't want to lose sight of. I want to, keep that in mind, that it's fine to have goals. It's fine to set those out there and have plans and things, but I needed to bake in a little bit more flexibility and a little more leniency for myself around meeting certain deadlines, especially if the deadlines are all just internally driven, right? So I'm learning. Yes, then we're gonna flow into making the Honeydews. So the last thing that has been a really positive experience for me is connecting with old friends. Now, previously, everybody's life was just so busy, and there are people that you interacted with in the past, and maybe you just, y'all were friends for a season, and then y'all went your own separate ways, but you still have fond memories of those people. Like, I have reconnected with so many people like that in my life, and it has just been phenomenal, because we're sitting here, we're bored, you don't have anything else to do, a memory sparks in your mind, you're like, oh, I wonder how they're doing, and then you just go ahead and call, and then the person's receptive. You don't have to feel weird about calling, because it's like, they not doing nothing in their house anyway, right? They bored just like you are. So when they see your name pop up on their caller ID, they like, hey, how you been, right? And it's just been phenomenal. So if you haven't had a chance to do something like that, I truly encourage you to do it, because it is so good to kind of reconnect with old friends. Now, let's get to making the Honeydews. So I have all of my melon balls here. I made quite a few melon balls. Ooh, they're so pretty. All right. So I have my US Open cup. So first we're gonna start with the Grey Goose Vodka. And it says use 1.5 parts of Grey Goose Vodka. So I'm gonna go with, I don't know what 1.5 parts is. So I'm gonna do this little side and do, I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna do, let me see what this would be. I think it's gonna be a lot of liquor. So that's one. Okay, Lord, I just spilled liquor all over the place. Okay. So I'm gonna do 1.5 of these. So I just think, I don't know, that's gonna be a lot of alcohol. Okay, so I did 1.5 of those. Lemonade up. That is not a lot of drink. You could tell that I don't drink, like I don't even know what I'm doing. But like, this is not a lot of liquid in here. That's not gonna make hardly anything. Okay, so I'm gonna do 6 of this side of the lemonade. Another 1.5 on this side of the Grey Goose. So that should be 1 of these. So I should do 1. Yes, I can do math in my head. So it looks the way it's supposed to look, and y'all can't even see it. Like, I don't even have it set up right. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And it smells good. It smells like liquor though. It smells liquor-y. Okay. So I'm gonna take some ice and just kind of pour the crushed ice in there. Just so that, see, I have 2 of the cups. All right, and then I'm gonna take the melon. I'm gonna take 3 of them, because that's what they do at the US Open, and put them on the toothpick, like so. See, it looks like little tennis balls. And then normally they just drop it in there like that. Yay! I made Honeydews. All right, let me taste it. Woo! That is strong. Or I'm just a lightweight. Oh my gosh. That is really strong. And I lost my melon balls down in here. That is. Yeah, so it reconfirms to me that I am not a fan of Grey Goose Vodka. Like at all. I should have got Ciroc. But it's done. That's the Honeydews. Go ahead and make you one with the melon balls. You see how easy it was to do. Got plenty more melon balls. Don't know if I'll make any more more Honeydews, but I'll try. It'll probably take me all night to drink this because it's pretty strong. So, if you want to continue to keep up with me and all the ups and downs I go through as I write and publish new books, click the subscribe button. Then don't forget to click that little silver bell so you won't miss when I'm doing a video, and I will see you next time.